Good morning and welcome to your daily Gameface. I am Dr. Kim Lannon. I am here this morning on the 14th of January with Lou. We're coming live late because of me. I love that I'm just late now. It used to be just, and now it's just like, I couldn't get into the studio today. Things happen. I'm still dealing with a heating thing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And what did you say? Resiliency, right?
Rise, right?
Right, rise. And there we are. So we have to have resiliency, and that's adaptability today. Adaptability and pivoting. Pivot, pivot, pivot. When things aren't going in the exact way you want them, you got to pivot.
Course corrections.
Yes, course corrections. And, people don't always think that they have a course correction option, but you do. You can always
have a goal, and they think I have a specific destination, and
Right.
you do, but sometimes you have to pivot or make a course correction to get there.
Exactly. And so today I made a course correction. So we're on a little bit of a different schedule today. Thank God, aside from this going live, you can watch it at any time or listen, and you will never know if I was late or not unless I said it. So maybe I should stop outing myself.
That's fine.
It makes me the real person that I am.
Exactly. It helps people relate.
Exactly. I asked you and you couldn't hear me, but can you still see me when I just did what I did?
What did you just do?
Oh, well, you obviously can still see me, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. But you couldn't see what I was doing, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I missed it, one or the other.
I just wanted to know if you could still see me because I can never tell if I'm like jumping over to another thing to look at when I'm looking at something. And I had notes today and I didn't write them out on paper because I'm not in the studio and I want to be able to jump to them. So, but first off, exciting news.
Uh-oh.
Well, exciting news in the fact that in the past week, I have made almost half my goal for
Nice.
the New England Patriots Foundation fundraising. Not all the way to half, but pretty close. I have to raise 12.5, but yeah. But here's part of it. I've been doing a giveaway and I'm getting excited. So I have to do this because as we talked about last week about contributions, right? Yeah, contributions in a different way. But this one, I've done a giveaway. It was over the weekend up until last night, 11:59. I have not done the drawing yet because I was waiting. I will do it after the show, but everyone should listen in because if you gave to me up to this point into the New England Patriots Foundation for me running my 12th Boston Marathon, you were entered into a giveaway drawing to win this lovely,
beautiful,
hand-signed Drake May star quarterback, beautiful picture, directly signed over to me, that I'm giving away because people donated. So that was one of my first giveaways. And it's about doing the Super Bowl squares. And so if you give $100 or more, you get entered into the giveaways.
Nice.
And so that one has finished and the winner will be announced shortly after the show because I haven't done the drawing yet, but I have my wheel all ready to go because I try to do it live so that people can see it.
Yep.
So everyone knows it's fair and everyone's on it. But after today, from today going forward, I have a whopper doozy.
Uh-oh.
A whopper doozy of a giveaway coming.
Okay, great. Something to look forward to.
Yeah, if you're wanting to maybe go see that game on Sunday.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So if you're wanting to go see the game on Sunday, I would think about giving to my fund because you'll be entered into a giveaway to go see the game on Sunday.
Wow. That's a great giveaway.
And it could cost you only so much money, but you have to go. You have to go, and I'll be posting up what the giveaway is and what would constitute your entry into it. But I'm trying to get this weekend, I'm trying to get to my goal of 12.5, but I'm really pushing to see if I can get to 10. But hey, let's go big or go home, right? So 12.5, let's complete it. And that would be, X amount. But if you go to my social media later on TikTok, Instagram, or on Facebook, or this site, I will post up the giveaway that will happen starting between today for anyone that gives a certain amount, which I will designate that amount and let you know, and what you will get for the giveaway. And it will be announced on Saturday. So you have plenty of time to prepare to go to the game on Sunday.
Hopefully you get an opportunity to give away tickets to the AFC Championship at Foxborough.
Which is the following weekend.
Yeah. Hopefully that all works out. Yeah.
Right. But in the interim, this is the game. Yep. And how exciting that you could win a chance to go to the game.
That'd be great.
And it might not be just 2 tickets. It might
Oh,
be more,
oh,
but
wow.
you have to stay tuned to see what the little prize will be.
Okay, stay tuned.
Right, but it's gonna be bigger, and the reason why I'm promoting it like this is because, 1, it's to get me to the goal, right? So it has to be bigger, so there's today through Saturday and people having the opportunity, so everybody, if you wanna give, great, please give, everything helps, but also if you wanna win a chance, you'll go to my social media and look at what it takes to win, or to get a chance to win that prize and what the prize will be. Yay, but it will be going to the game.
I'm gonna put your link up too early.
Yes, please put my link up. So, $100 contribution gets you a square for the Super Bowl squares. That's February 8th. And then it also gets you an entry into most, if not all, of my giveaways, with the caveat that this one coming up for the next 4 days is going to be just a little bit more of a donation, just because it's a big prize.
Mhm.
It's a very big prize. So,
Nice.
exactly. So it's exciting. It gives me that feeling of intention of the day, okay, this is so fun. And I'm so inspired by how many people have been giving and rooting me on, and yay. And it helps me because it helps me train easier and do everything else because it takes the pressure off, right? But also it's giving back to people. And again, people were asking me like, why the craft foundation? And to be very clear, the crafts aren't part of the foundation of this. This is the New England Patriots Foundation, which is made up of the team of runners that do the marathon. It's the marathon team that we all get the money together for all the people. I think there's 16 of us on the team this year, and we raise a little over, usually $250,000 to $300,000, and then it all gets distributed directly to New England community charities that go up for nomination and application in the next couple months. And then we have a big luncheon with Patriots in May, June, and we give all the money away. So it literally, you give to me and I give back right to them. It's amazing. So this is a very good thing. It's not a just give and you don't know where your money goes. I can tell you directly where it goes to on every single dollar. So it's very good. And you get a tax break. So
Oh, nice.
anyway, and you win good prizes with me.
That's the first autograph I've seen of Drake. I like his autograph. It's good.
Oh, yes. Oh, you
Yeah.
have never seen Drake May's
I've
autograph?
never seen his autograph. No.
Oh, I'll get you
All right, excellent.
one. And everyone's like, wait a second.
I'm trying not to get excited
I know.
about Drake
Why? Why?
because it's just you don't want to get excited too early, but he's just so good.
I know.
It's a
So,
fight. It's a fight to keep my excitement tamped down with him.
oh, well, I mean, be inspired. Be
Oh yeah.
inspired. Put that love out into the air and all that good vibing stuff.
Oh, it's just fun. It's just been a fun year, so
I
enjoying
know,
it.
right?
Yep.
It's so good. It's so good. So anyway, so just keep that in mind. So, and if you do your $100 today, that would be great. Not you, but people. Well, you can too, but maybe you want to go to the game.
I can. I'm working, but
Oh, yeah. It's 3 o'clock game. It's here. It's good. It's early. So hopefully the weather will be good. So,
yeah,
all
better than
right.
last week. Yeah.
I know, right? So, in fairness of time today, and we're talking about Rise. So, I wanted to make sure that we talk about, review that we're resetting our mindset on a daily basis. We are integrating the mindset. We are standing up or standing out on a daily basis in some way for ourselves or others. And then we are evolving. And that helps us to become, changed, grow, and move forward. So if you have a long-term goal or a short-term goal, it's important to rise every day. You have to rise to the occasion every day and really make that count. So what I thought would be an interesting topic to put in that today is talking about, what are you still waiting to feel ready for? People often will say, well, I'll do it blah blah blah. It's kind of like the first of the year, and
Right.
it was Failure Friday, like last Friday. That's what we call it. Failure Friday is when everybody fails on their on their New Year's resolutions, which I don't use those words, but Failure Friday is the first tap out Friday. It's usually every every second Friday for the first 3 months of the year is when people go, and then by the time they get to April, they're right back in
Good,
the.
good, because I'm waiting for the gyms to clear up a little bit.
Remember years ago when we used to
Yeah.
talk about that when I first started the show about like, "Oh, gyms will clear out in a couple weeks."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but I want people to keep going to the gym. So, I don't want people to have failure Friday. And if they follow this plan of rising to the occasion every day and making sure that they stay on goal, then they won't have that problem.
Yep.
So
But that's
anyway,
a great question. What are you waiting for? What do you need to get ready?
so right. And I put that in the quotes, air quotes of like, what are you still really waiting for to feel ready for? Right. And so here's what we know for sure. And it comes down to confidence doesn't show up to give you permission. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so confidence doesn't show up to give you permission. And that's what people say, like, oh, I have to have confidence, right? It shows up after you take the leap. So I often say to clients over my 30 years is you have to fake it till you make it, right?
Right.
So confidence comes as a result many times of taking the leap into the thing that you're doing, rising to the occasion, right? Courage is what gets you to the edge. And courage, you already have that because if you're thinking about a plan, if you're thinking about taking a leap, if you're thinking about all those things, then courage over confidence in taking the leap before you're ready is what's going to actually jump you into your life faster.
Mhm. Yep.
And then then you're not going to be stuck in the way that you think that you'd be uh or that you think you are when you're thinking about that.
A
So
lot of people get behind that confidence bus, and confidence is experiential. It's not, you don't come up with it mentally. You come up with it by doing what you're doing and stacking the wins, right?
well, yes. And it's the stacking of the wins in said in a different way, but yes, what you're saying is stacking of the wins is what makes you have the ability to feel the motivation, the inspiration, the next step forward. Um, but if you don't take the leap, if you don't take those little leaps, you can't get there. And that's where people really fall down. I'm at the bottom stair, but I see the 10th stair. I need to get to the top. I make a bounding leap for the top, and then I fail, so to speak, and then I give up. But why do we need to do that? We don't need to do that when we can just go one step at a time. But people don't like that because that seems so difficult and it seems so hard. But you actually, when you're in patterns, whatever pattern you're in, right? If it's good, bad, or indifferent, but when a lot of times we talk about it being negative, that negative pattern that has come to allow you not to rise each day and get to your fullest potential, that negative loop that you're in is because you haven't done all the things I'm saying. You haven't just gone ahead and said, okay, I trust my ability, I trust my quality of my thought, I trust my feeling, and then really taking a self-fulfilling prophecy that you can have that is positive. So many people talk about self-fulfilling prophecies as being that negative because they are, like if you say you can't, you won't. If you say you can't, you can't. That's why I don't use the word can't because can't is.
People have confidence in the negative aspect of it. They don't understand the powerful positive aspect of it.
Right, because we're so indoctrinated socially into the negative aspects of these things that we don't look at it from that perspective. And in my practice, I shift people's and pivot people all the time on that and going into, confidence is that belief that you can meet your challenge, you can succeed, but you have to have the willingness to act. And there's what I talked about, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
taking the action, acting on the belief. So you feel secure and self-assured in your own capability and it's kind of like when someone comes to me and says, I can't get that job because I'm supposed to have experience, but I can't get the experience because I can't get the job.
Right.
Right? It's the same kind of vicious loop. But I always then say, you just have to go and do it anyway. You just have to go and try. You just have to go and do. Keep putting your foot out there. Keep taking the leap, little leaps. And even if you get the door shut on you 100 times, you're still going to get one door open. Back in the day when I was doing acting a lot more in performing arts, I would go out on 50 to 60 auditions every week
Yep.
to get one part. And not every time would I. And it's usually the law of averages was like 100 auditions for one part. And that could be a walk on, that could be a silent extra role, that could be 2-word role just to get that. Right. And people would be like, that's a lot of work to get that. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what you have to do. It's like that's a big payout, but you have
Yep.
to be willing. Kind of like people right now and who need jobs. I have one client right now that's doing 6 to 15, anywhere from 6 to 15 resumes sending out a day.
Wow.
And I tell other clients that and they're like, that's crazy. I'm like, no, because you have to create the urgency around the confidence level, literally, statistically, but you have to create the urgency around your own confidence level that somewhere out there, your hit rate is going to be there and you're going to finally get it because you have built a sense of security in the fact that your capabilities are there and it's just a matter of putting yourself out there and taking that leap so that you can self-fulfill a prophecy of success versus self-fulfill a prophecy of failure.
I think one of the things that blocks this so effectively is that people are afraid of failure,
Yeah,
and they're
well, yes,
and
right.
the fact is, when you're going into something new, you're trying something new, you don't have the plan. You're going to have to make many course corrections as you go along. You're going to learn things. Every experience is going to give you a new viewpoint on it, and you're going to get much more effective as you go. You have to accept the fact that you don't have the perfect plan right now. But go ahead anyway.
Exactly, and there is no perfect plan. As we started the show today, I said I had to pivot, right? I had to do an
Yeah.
adaptability today. There is no perfect plan. Things have to be flexible because you have to be able to move in that space. And the more you move in that space, the better. Or the more you're able to move in that space. If you get locked in on that non-growth mindset, that closed mindset I talked about at the first of the year, the ability to rise is going to be squashed or squelched because um, you're going to be in the self-fulfilling prophecy of getting the fuck it. And I have no problem saying that. That's what people do. They go right into, oh, this didn't work. My plan didn't go as planned. And so we get the fuck it's, excuse the language, but
Right.
there's no simpler way to put it. And that's how I talk with my clients about it. And that's how they understand it. And they being like people who struggle with this very specific thing of getting into the vicious loop cycle of I can't, I won't, and therefore I fail. And so they prove to themselves that they can't move forward, but they can. So I try to help them take that language because words matter out so that self-fulfilling prophecy can not go into the place where they give up and fail. Because we do need to have those failures. I hate that word, but we do need to have the non successes so we can learn from them so that we can do a course correction because we have to learn what we are doing that's getting us stuck or hitting the wall or whatever's in our obstacle way.
Non-successes are actually wins as well because you gain
Right.
more experience. You know better what you're doing, and you can
Exactly.
make a more effective plan for the next step.
Exactly. And so if you follow like that, so the pillars of confidence, have you ever heard of the pillars of confidence?
No.
Okay, so the pillars of confidence in the work and when I work with clients on this is we have feelings and we have beliefs and we have attitude and we have action. And
Okay.
we need to have the feeling, the belief, the attitude all be connected in a healthy way so the action can be actionable, if that makes sense. And the more we take the action in the way that is taking the leap, small leaps every day, right? Small little wins every day. Then the feeling that we have that we want to feel good or we want to feel successful or we want to feel happy or joy, whatever that feeling is, right? A feeling word, then the belief in ourselves grows and no weeds, right? I do the visual when I teach the class. No weeds are growing in the garden because our belief system is growing, like blooming, and our attitude shifts. So, therefore, the mindset shifts and rises. So, we then can integrate it again. Then we can stand up even more intently with confidence and courage. And then our action that we take next is even more intense and more purposeful and gets us to our goal faster.
Every baby step, you know more, whether it's a win, whether it's not a win. Every baby step, you're more experienced. You know more. You can go before more. You can go forward more effectively.
Right, and I think one of the best things about, like, what you just said there is that the impact of confidence around this is that when we learn from our obstacles, when we learn from having to adapt and pivot, when we learn from those things, we can figure that we can go and move forward as planned, even if we have to do that instead of giving up, which is why Failure Friday happens, is because people don't go into this mode that I'm talking about. They go into the give up mode instead of going, okay, things didn't go as planned. What do I need to learn from what I didn't do or what didn't happen to be able to move it forward and give myself the confidence and courage to say, okay, scrap that. Let's move forward and do this way. So it's a commitment to yourself every moment, sometimes every day, to just be readjusting on those. Some days you won't have to do that as much. Some days you will. There's no linear. That's a big thing. The past
Right.
few weeks, I've been like, there's no linear. There's no linear. People have this thing of the day is supposed to be linear. There's happiness looks like happiness all day long. No,
Right.
this is not happiness. That's not reasonable, rational, or realistic to attain, or obtain, or sustain that. Right. Um, so in that, I wanted to say that self-confidence versus self-efficacy, which is self-belief. So self-confidence is that broader, bigger characterological or characteristic trait that refers to you having an overall sense of your capability. But the next piece of rising every day is that self-efficacy, and self-efficacy is your belief in you. And that's different, but yet you need it because they work together, because it's very specific to your belief in your ability to complete a particular task. So it's not as broad. Self-confidence is that broad spectrum issue. But when I have a belief about myself, you have a belief about yourself, that I have the ability to complete something and get to that point, and I know that it's there, then you can build more confidence, because every little step, every little leap you're taking is getting you there. But you have to make sure that you have the self-belief. If you have self-doubt, then I always have people step back a little bit and reevaluate how big is the plan on a daily basis, because sometimes the plan is too overwhelming and
Yeah.
it's bigger than the day. And the truisms of live in the day of all the AA and the NA and the G, all the A programs, is so true, is live in the day, because that's what you have. And if you live in the day, it will get you to tomorrow and that goal. So that doesn't mean you're not thinking about tomorrow or Friday or next week or next month, but it means that if you live in the day, your belief is going to be there in yourself, because you're just working on what you have in that moment. And that's that building and accumulating a sense of higher confidence will lead to a greater sense of control in your life, like, which is internal. So you're not feeling like externally controlled. So you don't blame and shame out the world that why did it happen to you, instead of you taking control over it. So your success comes from having that higher confidence, so that it motivates you to take on more challenges, makes you feel stronger to take on more challenges, and then can boost um, your confidence into more of what we call in psychology like a virtuous cycle. It's
Yep.
it's giving you a constant feedback loop of goodness, and it's a payback to you, which is not linear. So and you have to know that, right? Um,
People have a hard time living with that. They think everything is progress, everything's a step forward, and some days are good, some days not. But again, you always learn more. You always know more at the end of the day.
exactly. And you have to be open to that piece. Um, and and not people poo-poo a lot of the things that go with that, because it's not a quick fix, and don't like to have to work on, and this is a general rule of thumb, right? People don't like to have to work on enhancing their overall well-being, because they want to come to them.
But it's funny, the two things I love in this regard are weight loss programs, trying to
Mhm.
lose weight, and financial health, trying to up your financial health, because they teach these lessons so well. It's like, well, I tried that, that didn't work. It wasn't as effective as I wanted it to be. What can I do to get better at that?
Right.
The mindset you have to go into. And it's like you can't lose 30 pounds by January 14th. But are you down 4 or 5 pounds? Are you eating better? How was your last meal? That's all you can do.
Well, and I think and it's so basic, and because it's so basic, people poo-poo it, right? Because it's like, wait a second, all it is make a better choice.
Mhm.
If we're talking like let's talk about like food and weight loss goals. If you eat chocolate cake every day, and then on top of that, you eat pizza and you eat Doritos and you eat whatever else, right? Where in there are you making a different choice? So
Yep.
I give you an example. I have clients that do that, right? So that's what they eat. And then they get upset that when we do a food log or when we say, okay, what are you doing to make it different? And they show me their food log. I'm like, okay, instead of being like, oh, you ate chocolate cake, oh, you ate, no, I say, where in each of these days can you make a change of one thing? And they look at me like, well, how's that going to matter? And I always say, because every time you make that one little change and you can sustain it, it's going to be the leap that you're taking to make the next leap. And I mean, it's tried and true. This works. And I wish I could have all the clients that I have that do this, but start at that level of, wait a second, that's too much work. It doesn't work.
Yeah. And
This
the
is
other thing about
big
those
difference.
two disciplines, weight loss and financial success, is they're tangible. You can see progress. And
Right.
I remember starting out with the 500 calorie deficit. That was simple, and that was a daily thing that I could hit. Didn't hit it every day, but hit it
Right.
a lot of the days, got better at it, got more
Right.
efficient at it, added some exercise to help get to that 500 calorie deficit. And as I went on, I found more sophisticated things, but that was a day-to-day goal that I could hit. That was
Right.
I wasn't losing 30 pounds. I was just doing a 500 calorie deficit today. That's all.
Right. And that's the one change that you can make. And if you understand what the 500 calorie deficit does, it's a setup for um, accumulated success.
Yep.
And that's what most success is. Failure, by the way, is accumulated. Success is accumulated. Negativity is accumulated. Productivity is accumulated. We work harder at the negative and the fail because our socialization is to go in that because that's our mindset. But if you work just as hard on the other way, you get to the same place that you need to, but you don't have all that failure or that defeat behind you. So, you know, that's I think that's an important piece too when people get stuck. So here's one of the things that I'm offering up as a tip for people around um, confidence. And this is going to sound odd, but we have very good research on this, and I'm sure you've heard about this. Here's the stand out and stand up part of the rise. When you stand or sit in a posture of confidence, literally your body, right? Your whole demeanor, your whole sensation, and your practice of feeling more, your feet, your legs, you're grounded, all those, that actually changes your whole level of confidence. When you sit slouchy or you sit down like that, or you hang your head, or you don't make eye contact, all those things, that's one of the very first steps that I try to help people without like directly going at someone being like, stand up straight, right? It's about when you're present and you're standing up and standing out, that means you're present for yourself. It means you're standing up for you. That means you're in a body posture that is creating hormonal change in you. It's changing your cortisol levels. It's sending serotonin and dopamine that says, I'm here to your brain and I'm present. And when you do that, your body language will shape who you are for you and out in the world, just as a basic practice. If you're not even doing anything else today, there's a leap you can take. Check in with your body posture and literally just say, okay, I need to stand in myself. I need to stand so that I feel more connected, more powerful, more empowered myself. And what a weird feeling for so many people to do that, because people find that so odd when I say that. And they're like, really? That's what we're talking about? I'm like, yeah, that's how we're starting.
Well, it's a baby step forward. Most people feel that they have no control over their outcomes. They feel they're out of control, and that's a daunting position to be in. You have to understand the power of your decisions and your power over your own outcomes. And part of it is just understanding that you do have control. You do have power. You can make
Exactly.
choices. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you do maintain a sense of personal empowerment of just your body, it sets the stage for so many other things. But people walk around with lacking body awareness, not lacking awareness of being present just in their environment. You know, we have a great practice technique in acting, and the actually psychodrama. I don't know if you know this, but psychodrama with J.L. Moreno is one of the first founders, and that was a person who did like acting techniques and built people into like great actors back in the day, but also contributed to the field of psychology with group and individual work around using sensory work. Sit in the chair and then only focus on what you hear for 5 minutes, or spend the day thinking about everything you hear only. Tomorrow, do everything you see. The next day, focus on everything you smell. Practice presence.
Mhm.
When you do that, it's life changing. I went through those skills when I was in acting school back in the day in New York, and I was working in the field as well at the same time. What a difference that makes in your overall ability to be in the moment,
Yep.
to really center in about um staying confident, but also being like, "Oh my god, I'm in the world because I'm spending all this time seeing things I never saw, hearing things I take for granted, feeling things, like just feeling, not talking emotionally, but feeling the presence of the world around me instead of just walking through blindly." When you can have that build and give that around you, oh my gosh, what an empowerment of like, I have control over my environment. I have control over me because I'm present in the world around it. And that gives you that courage and confidence balance so that you can feel like, okay, I have the capacity to have the energy to move forward. So like a bit of stress can be useful to keep us alert and give us like extra energy and need to perform. But when you have it, you want to try to retrain that into how does that translate into your environment so that you can have it be in your presence of being right here in the space to be intensely there for yourself rather than shrinking down into it and being afraid of it and running from it, right?
Yep.
So building that capacity for having that energy that we're holding on to in our peace bubble, but really getting us out there. And of course, I'm going to say one of the ways to do a lot of these things is you got to exercise regularly. That does not mean you have to run a marathon. But right,
Nice
but
thought.
the reason why I mentioned exercise in this confidence courage thing is it has a powerful effect on confidence, because when you do regular exercise, even if you do it a few times a week for 20, 30 minutes, even sometimes 5 minutes, right? Because you don't always have to do 30 minutes. um, it releases enough endorphins that interact with your opiate receptors, which are your happy receptors, right? And which produces a great state of mind, which is why people all of a sudden, it's kind of like sleep on it, exercise on it, because after you've done either or, it's a reset. So go back to the rise for the day. It's a reset for your brain. So regular exercise is a reset. And it's amazing how after you've done a run, or after you've done a hard walk or a row or an elliptical or lifting or whatever, or a class, all of a sudden you're like, oh, that thing I was thinking about either works itself out, or you've come up with another pivot idea, or something else has moved. Why? Because you've released your brain into a capacity to be present for yourself. And that builds confidence, because all of a sudden you're like, oh, I took control over this to be able to do this.
That's
Yeah.
the skill set that helps build just getting to the gym and doing a little something. Michael Singer used to talk about people jumping into the back seat, getting away
Yes.
from the steering wheel and jumping into the back seat. Get back in front of the steering wheel, control your outcomes. And you can do that by saying, today I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do 20 to 30 minutes. And you've accomplished something. You took the wheel for a little bit of while.
Right.
And that's a skill set that you can help build on.
Exactly, exactly. And to your point, and giving like the counter of like where people are, is that people don't give themselves permission to do that.
Right.
People often give in to the process instead of give yourself permission to be in the process, take the risk, make the mistakes. Because from the outside, we often think, wow, everybody else has it better. Everybody else is happier. It comes easier. Look at how creative, successful, rich, all the things, right? I'm not good enough, or I can never do that. Like all these things. What we don't tend to consider is that um, we have to give ourselves that permission to just work hard and face our day-to-day necessity to rise. And we don't rise enough. And I think that's what I learned so much in the year of you with clients that practice the year of yous consistently, is one of the things that came out of it that they were working on changing was that giving themselves permission to be for themselves, to really be there for themselves and not relying on the world around them, and then not blaming the world around them for whatever does or doesn't happen to them.
And understanding the power and out and understanding the permission you have to do that.
Yes. Yes. And in doing that, giving yourself permission, that means you have to speak well to yourself. You have to speak healthy to yourself. It's wonderful to get positive feedback from others, right? Because we love that if it happens, right? But if you're always a person who's seeking outside approval, it's a very big trap to get into. And there's so many social approval seekers and looking for external validation, right? You have to approve of yourself.
Well,
You
how
have
many
to,
people don't go to the gym because I don't wanna look silly.
right.
I don't want people to know I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
That's
Or right. Exactly. In the gym example, or same with like people won't go to a financial person or a financial planner because they don't want, they think it's embarrassing that the person will judge them that they only have $5, right? No,
right.
it's about approve of yourself. You are where you're at, and be the one that says the words of encouragement that you need to hear and that you want to hear, because no one else is going to do that for you. If they do, great. We do like to have a complimentary, and I'm not saying someone who gives compliments, but a complimentary partner or friend or support system. We need that. But at the end of the day, you have to give yourself the approval words yourself. You have to have encouragement to yourself. You have to have kindness to yourself so that you have a good relationship to yourself, so that you can then have the things you want. It's very difficult without the things I'm talking about to be able to rise every day to the occasion to meet you and bring you to where you want to
Yeah.
be.
And more often
Once
than
you
not, that financial planner or the gym people are gonna look at you and say, "You showed up, congratulations." That's gonna be the judgment.
Exactly. Right.
Yes.
And I often will say to people like in the gym thing, like you went for 5 minutes. Awesome. You put $5 away. Awesome. No one wants you. Well, no one's going to expect you truly. Maybe there's one person, but no one's going to truly expect you to have $1 million to put in the bank from the beginning. No one's going to expect you to lose 30 pounds. That's reasonable in a month. So if you have realistic self-compassion, it's going to work for you, because you're going to have more belief in yourself, and you're going to have more control. And once you have a better sense of that in the year of you from last year and rising this year, you're going to then be able to ask for help and offer your help to others in the right way, the way that we're not looking for someone to do it for us, which is part of that
Yep.
non-virtuous cycle, right? It's about, because so many of us struggle to ask for help because we fear that we'll either get rejected or be seen as weak and incompetent. And
Right.
so we're vulnerable, especially here in our culture. We have a very high value placed on self-reliance, and that gets in the way of reaching out to others.
Except
And
nobody is.
right.
I tell you it, but nobody is.
Right. So a core feature of self-confidence lies in being valued by others and being able to have a sense of belonging within the system of our well-being. And so once you go through all the other little pieces I just talked about, you're going to be much more able really to stand up and ask for the right kind of help, which is usually collaboration, idea building, you know, it will give you momentum to really produce more reliable wins, and feeling of ability to give yourself permission to move forward.
And early on, especially in the gym, that collaboration can be passive. It can be just watching other people do what they do. Just
Right.
learning again every day. If you
Right.
stay at it every day, you're better. You're learning more. You're more
Exactly.
experienced. You understand better.
Exactly. And yeah, go ahead.
No, it's a win. It's just
Yes.
going
Yes.
there and learning something is a win.
Right. And just imagine just doing any of the things I've said today just as one of the things, and just moving on that, see how that feels. Any of the things that I've said, right? The bottom line, because I'm watching my time and I know where you have to be and I know where I have to be, but the bottom line is that the healthy sense of self-confidence is not something that we're going to achieve all at once,
Right.
right? Right? And
There's no
then
epiphany. It doesn't
right,
happen.
and it's not gonna right, we're not gonna do it and then just have it for the rest of our lives. It's a process. That's the take home message, is you have to be invested in the process to, notice whether or not you're building your self-esteem and really working your program, so to speak.
And to go back on an important point you made earlier, the process is not linear. It's not,
Yes. Well,
not linear.
you're right.
You
It
have bad
waxes.
days, you have good days.
Right. Self-confidence in the process waxes and wanes. It takes work every day to build, to develop, to maintain. That's why you have to rise every day. You have to rise to the occasion to be able to evolve, right? So we're all going to have everyday challenges. Some, like you just said, some days none, some days lots, some days somewhere in between. But when we understand the source of how we can be healthy in our self-worth and our self-confidence, we can work on that within ourselves and out into the world. So, challenge yourself today to build your self-confidence. How do you feel about building your self-confidence? You have the courage to take the leap. Do it, Um, think to yourself, what's my greatest maker or breaker of my confidence? And try to really learn to pass by what makes and breaks you in that way.
Well, I
Um,
think the distinction between confidence and courage is important because whenever you're
yes,
trying something new, you don't have confidence. You develop confidence. You have
right.
courage to start and understand that I'm going to figure this out. I don't have it right now, but I'm going to figure this out.
Exactly. And you don't get the self-confidence to build if the courage that's already there. Everybody has courage. You just have to act on it.
Mhm.
Truly, human beings are courageous. It's whether or not you're willing to act on it.
Yep.
Truly. And when people are not willing, and I use that word very specifically because I'm big on words, if they're not willing, then the outcome is going to be exactly what you put into it. Willingness doesn't mean that willingness doesn't have to mean um, that you're going to be perfect and successful. Willingness just is the accommodation piece to getting you to the next level of I'm willing to do that, and therefore I'm going to take the leap. And once you take the leap and you see, oh my God, it worked, or oh, it didn't work the way I thought it would, I got to pivot.
Right.
You're building the thing that you need to make that dream that you've got down the line, that business, that financial plan, that weight loss plan, the relationship plan, whatever it is, you've got that now. There goes my voice.
Sometimes what people fear the most is that didn't work.
Right.
Right.
Oh
And
God.
that's the end for them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love it when people get excited, like, oh, it didn't work. And then if we've been working on it for a while and something didn't work, I can tell when something is now moved in them because they'll come back and I'll be like, oh, and then I'll go to give them my next pivot point that I would do
Mhm.
for like advising them. And they'll be like, oh, I already did that and it worked.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm like, oh,
That
yes.
didn't work, but here's what I'm going to try next time.
Right.
That's
And they because they've integrated what we've done in work time to go, oh, I already did that because they've learned to trust themselves that they didn't need me to tell them or show them that they have a pivot point. They have figured out that they reset their mind. Here comes the full circle. They integrated what we talk about. Then they took and stood up, took action, and that evolved them
yep.
before they went to the next thing. Right? The pillars all worked. The attitude changed, and then the action was taken, which made the feeling and the belief better. Here's all, so it's always full circle.
Then the catalyst point is when you figure out that you do have control over your outcomes,
Right.
right?
Yes.
I've gotten better at this, so I'm better. Yeah, my outcome is better because I put the work in and I'm a
Right.
little bit better at this.
Yes, exactly. And what a great takeaway outside of the giving yourself permission today, and that this is a process, is stop relying on others to make you succeed. Stop looking for the externals to blame and to get you to your goal. It's within you. It's all within you.
Sit at the wheel.
Yeah. Stay at the wheel.
Yeah.
Drive your own car.
Yep.
Drive your own train. So, all right. So everybody, so work on that. You're working on your rise this month, and knowing I'm going to keep beating on it. I do have a couple guests lined up coming in the future.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to have Maria Paskowitz. We're going to talk about some things related to sort of ethereal, more spiritual uh, intuition and following your gut and other things in the world. And then I will also have Michelle Michelizzi coming back, and we're going
Oh,
to be
nice.
having a
Yep.
wonderful show with her as well, talking about evolving and enhancement of life and improving and all those things for the year of Rise. So I will give you dates soon, but I just want to let people know that. And go to my social media today, because between today and Sunday, you're going to be able to enter to win game tickets. So anyway, thank you for everybody that's already helped sponsor me. And you certainly can go back in and do it again if you want more chances to win.
Ryan chimed in. Do you want to deal with it before we go?
Oh, do I want to deal with it? Hi, Ryan. I love asking
I didn't mean
others
it that way.
and myself. You live with you forever. Why do you give others more grace than you give yourself? And why? And
Yeah.
when you're trying to learn? Great question. So really, really quickly, I didn't see the question. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. We give others grace more than we give ourselves, because we're socialized. It's a very simple, basic answer. We are socialized to do for others because we are trained that doing for ourselves is selfish. We're still in that state of being in the world where people want us to be humble and think that that's what humility looks like, is that you do for others and not for yourself, because that's selfish. And then that's an old school kind of tradition that's stuck with us, even in the trending psychology going forward. And so I encourage people to give yourself grace. And that's such an odd concept, because that's the permission giving. Give yourself permission to be in the world and say no, and to love who you are and not look for validation from others. And and it just, I keep looping in my head going, it's a social construct that's unfortunately keeps us bound a lot of times to that. It's around a lot of times socioeconomic status and generational gap and demographic areas that are very steeped in and religious beliefs too. It's like it's a big cornucopia of things that contribute to why we give others grace more than we give ourselves,
Well,
because we're
hopefully
supposed
this is a
to.
lesson you learn as a parent. I remember one of my favorite questions to ask my kids all the time, well, what did you learn? You know, if they fail at something or something bad happened, did you learn anything?
Right.
They're all rolling their eyes out because they can hear it in their head. But
Right.
that's the concept you have to take, and people don't give themselves that kind of grace. It's like, well, okay, that didn't work. What did you learn?
Exactly, because they feel shame in that.
Yep.
And so that goes to answer Ryan's question. There's a shame piece in, like, if you do for yourself, that's not okay. But if you do for others,
I
you're
know.
like a saint.
I know it's weird, isn't it? We don't give
Mhm.
ourselves any kind of grace.
Yes, but you have to do for yourself. And it's so cliche, but it's so true. If you cannot do for yourself, you're truly not able to do for others in the way that you really could step up. So you can, but you won't be as successful, I
Something
guess.
you learn as you get older, but hopefully people learn it earlier and earlier. That's the goal.
Hopefully. Right, exactly. So, all right, you guys. So have a fantastic week. Thank you for the questions. Go on out there, have a great week, and rise to every day.